Hi there, and welcome to 60 for 30, a Magic the Gathering project aimed to get you an ultra budget deck of 60 cards for just around $30. Today, we're going to be looking at a modern deck list. This one is mono white tokens, which has been kind of a staple of the budget modern world for a while, but it's pretty strong and it does some really cool things. So let's take a look at it. The crux of the deck is these token producing cards that get you an awful lot of value. Midnight Haunting, 3 mana at instant speed, 2/1/1 white flying creatures. Raise the Alarm, 2 mana at instant speed, 2/1/1 creature tokens. And one of the best cards in the deck, Spectral Procession. For 3 white, you get 3/1/1 white flying creature tokens, which is insane value. And the thing about token decks is they're actually really well suited in a format that has a lot of targeted removal, like Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push, Dismember, things like that, because you play Raise the Alarm and get 2 creatures and they kill one of them, you still have a creature and you've gone card for card, so you're winning that trade. We also run 4 Gather the Townsfolk and 4 Secure the Wastes. They're a little different than the others, which just give you tokens. Gather the Townsfolk has Fateful Hour, so if it's coming down to the wire and we're under 5 life, we get 5 tokens for 2 mana, which is insane. Although mostly in the testing I did, this is going to be a turn 2 play just to get tokens on the board. I think there was one occasion where the Fateful Hour effect mattered, but it's worth being aware of. And then Secure the Wastes actually does an awful lot for this deck. At instant speed, you can play a lot of tricks with it. And the fact that it has X in the mana cost means that later in the game, we can dump this for 5-6 tokens, and it can really turn the game around by itself. So what do we do with all these tokens? Well, 1/1 creatures aren't that great, but getting 2/2/2 creatures for 2 mana is amazing, and even better when they have Vigilance. So we have these Anthem Effects that for just 2 mana buff all of our creatures, because all of our creatures are white and all of our creatures are creature tokens. So especially in Intangible Virtue, when you have some flying creature tokens and you make them 2/2 flying and they're vigilance and they're just going to Beatsville, the game ends pretty quickly that way. We're also going to run 4 Condemn and 4 Brave the Elements. Condemn is just a good 1 mana, get rid of a creature that's causing you problems card. And then Brave the Elements is really unfair in this deck actually. But Brave the Elements gives white creatures you control protection from a chosen color until the end of turn at instant speed for 1 mana. So this can be used to make all your creatures essentially unblockable. It can be used to save all your creatures from an Anger of the Gods. It can be used to block when your opponent attacks and win a trade because all your creatures get protection from that color. It's absolutely brutal. And then nothing fancy in the lands, 24 planes. Pretty basic in a budget deck. I doubt anyone's surprised about that. So some deck notes from testing. I really like this deck, guys. It's not the most exciting, crazy, over the top, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's playing that deck, but it does win an awful lot of games. You have a lot of ways to make instant speed tokens, which should be taken advantage of as much as possible. Everything's just better at instant speed, and we have a lot of ways to play at instant speed. Anytime you're playing an aggressive creature deck where you're just trying to fill the board, you need to always expect the Wrath card in matchups where they could have a board wipe. Pay attention, Anger of the Gods is played a lot. Damnation's getting a reprint in Modern Masters 3, so I imagine a lot of black decks will start playing that couldn't afford it before. And you just don't want to overcommit to the board. If you have 5 creatures, and say one of our Anthem spells out, and we're just attacking with them and we're winning, we don't need to play our last Spectral Procession to have 8 creatures since we're already winning. Just hold that in case they kill all your creatures, so you have some resiliency against control. The other thing is when it comes to combat math, you want to play your tokens first and then the anthems, right? So imagine this line of play. It's turn 2, you have 2 mana, and you can play Raise the Alarm on the end of their turn, or Intangible Virtue. And what you're going to want to do almost every time is play the Raise the Alarm, and then on turn 3, play the Intangible Virtue, so that you can start attacking on turn 3 with your buffed creatures. Whereas if you play the Anthem on turn 2 and the tokens on turn 3, you're not attacking until turn 4. We want to trade creatures as much as possible. You kind of have to read the situation. I'm not saying this is a hard and fast rule, but you play one card and you get multiple creatures, they play one card and they get a creature. So if you trade creature for creature, you're generally coming out ahead on card advantage. And then the last point is knowing the matchup. There's a famous Magic the Gathering article called Who's the Beatdown. It's a really good article that essentially boils down to identifying in a game who wants the game to go fast and who wants the game to go slow. In most matchups, we're going to be the fast deck, since this is a pretty aggressive deck. But in some matchups, with our Anthems and our Secure the Wastes and Spectral Processions, over the course of the game, we're just going to outscale some decks. So you have to know whether you're playing super fast and swinging with 5/1/1s into some of their creatures to get damage through, even though it'll lose you some creatures, or if you just sit tight and wait for some more Anthem Effects and some more tokens before you start attacking. It's all about playing it by ear and the matchup. Alright, so we're a super budget list, but there are some upgrades that you might want to look into. Path to Exile is obviously a strictly better Condemn, but it's pretty expensive, so we avoid it and run Condemn in its place. But Path to Exile is definitely an upgrade. Windbrisk Heights is interesting because it comes into play tapped, which might slow you down. So I didn't do any testing with Windbrisk Heights, but for 1 mana later in the game, it can potentially cast us a free card. If we attacked with 3 or more creatures this turn, which we're almost always going to be able to do over the course of a game. So it seems pretty strong. And then we have these 2 creatures here of Bladehold and Brimaz. And just looking at what they do, Bladehold for 4 mana is going to get you a 3/4 body, which passes the Bolt test. But the insane thing is that it has Battle Cry, so when it attacks, it's going to pump all your creatures by 1 power, and when it attacks, you get 2 white soldier tokens also attacking, so essentially with haste. So imagine this on the field with just 1 Anthem effect. When it attacks, Hero of Bladehold might be buffed by Honor the Pure, and the 2 tokens are going to be buffed by Honor the Pure. Right, so we're attacking with a bunch of damage from just 1 card. And then Brimaz is a little cheaper at just 3 mana. Exact same body size. Vigilance is great for being able to attack and play defense, and is also going to give us a creature token every time he attacks, which can get out of hand really quickly. There's also the option to splash black, mostly for Lingering Souls, which is a ridiculous card. We have to pay 3 for just 2 Flying Spirit tokens, but then we get to flash it back for just 2 mana to get 2 more white Flying Spirit tokens, which is 4 tokens off of 1 card, which is pretty ridiculous. You can throw in some hand disruption. Obviously, Thoughtseize or Inquisition of Kozilek would be better than Duress, but if you're still trying to play a budget white-black version, Duress is your friend. Black lets you play Zealous Persecution, which is an instant that buffs your creatures for a turn, and can potentially wipe your opponent's creatures if they have lots of 1/1 creatures, or you can play it as a combat trick to win some pretty heavy trades. And it also opens the door for Sorin, Solemn Visitor, which it might not strictly speaking be the best card, but I love playing this card in a token deck. The +1 ability to get lifelink off your tokens is unbelievable, and in a pinch he can make 2/2 tokens as well. So that's it, guys. That was 60 for 30 on mono white tokens. It really does win a lot, so I hope you have some fun with it. This channel's just starting out, so please subscribe, tell your friends about it, come back and watch our videos. We'll be doing modern and standard videos fairly regularly. I already have my April Fool's deck planned. It's the worst deck I've ever made, but it's hilarious, so please come back and see that one. And have a good one. Thanks for watching.